All right, all right. Well, people are funneling in. I'm so happy to be back and speak your truth. Speak your truth. Magnetic joined. I love that. Thank you, Magnetic. You know, I love my tea. So I'm starting off with my tea. And I thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're magnetic. Okay, okay. I'm so used to seeing NP for you. So seeing that it is magnetic, NP for me, I'm so used to seeing that as your handle that I love magnetic. Thank you for being magnetic because I journaled that this morning. I am magnetic and that's inspirational that I see you switched it up. Is there a reason behind that? Are you magnetic? Are you pulling everything into your reality at this time? So I do journal. I am magnetic. Hello, Johnny 855. While everyone's coming in, thank you, thank you. A beautiful thank you. Yes. You know, yes. Thank you. And I'm not going to say, oh, it takes work. It's just what we do. It's just what I do. A red lip and a red nail and some positive thoughts. Here we go. Greetings, greetings, greetings. So, I love my tea. I have my tea. Thank you for continuing to like the live, like and share the live, because this live is going to be about speaking your truth, opening your mouth to speak, sharing that throat chakra energy, and the ability to speak your truth and really speak things into your reality. And I am reminded of this because I look at that. I left my signature on the cup. Because what happens when you don't? What happens when you refuse to speak your truth? When you refuse to accept the power of your words, the power of your tongue? Or the opposite, you speak all sorts of things into your reality unknowingly. And I had a thought because I had someone who would always say uplifting things about anything that I chose to do. And it's exciting to have support. It's exciting for someone to say, I believe in you. And then it changed. And it was less of that support and more of almost a ridicule. And it was hurtful because of two things: the lack of the support and the change. But what it did was remind me that I am the first supporter of myself. I am the first person that believes in me. Thank you, FSICP Wellness Power. I believe in me. And I always share this, and I had said in my TED talk that it's you, and it always comes back to you. It always comes back to us. NP for me, who is magnetic, is always sharing about what's up, cool Aaron, how to conduct self checks and ensure your health and wellness is in its optimal space. Hi, cool Aaron. You know, I always jump around, especially when I see these people that come into my lives. I want to recognize you, Aaron, because you've been on this journey, you've been in my lives, and I've seen you grow. and I've seen you take steps towards what you want. And I scroll and I see that you're on live and people are participating in your lives. You also put out digital art and things that you create, and it's magical to see that growth within yourself, and it's inspiring. So keep going, and I see you. I see you. You've been growing. It's amazing. And I'm seeing all of the hopefuls funnel in, and with pleasure. Yeah, and that's the thing, the subtle steps of growth, because it will come from showing up daily. It will come from pushing through. And I've seen that within you, cool Aaron. I've seen that with magnetic. We all say, yeah, well, people speak, I will speak about that, Johnny Curie. And it also is just a catchphrase. So it's not always completely literally. However, back to growth, and then I will clarify that. Um, So the growth is subtle, the growth is daily, the growth is seeing your vision and persisting even if it's not in your reality. And I've seen that with Aaron as well as Magnetic, some of the other hopefuls over the past over a year, sometimes 2 years of showing up on this app, other apps, workshops, and things that they put together to build themselves, their brand, or the message that they are wishing to get out. So that is beautiful in that sense of growth. Now, referring to speaking your truth like people speak their untruths, people speak untruths all the time. The moment that you say, I can't do it, is an untruth. It could be your truth as well. Speaking untruths is, I'm not worthy. I do not like myself. Anything that would go against the greatness that you are. And it doesn't have to always be taken literally. So, my three takeaways from that: speaking your truth. Number one is just the title of the live. It's eye catching and people will stop. So, there's that part. The second part is speaking. Exactly, Aaron. Our inner dialogue holds so much power. Exactly. Secondly, everyone's truth is their truth. I often say this is my truth. It's not the truth. It is a truth that exists in a world of many truths. So essentially, speaking an untruth is not speaking to the power that you've always held. I don't believe in myself. This won't work for me. I can't do it. It won't work. I don't want people to see me trying. That would be an untruth, but it could also be a truth. It doesn't I don't it's not so literal. However, what cool Aaron said is true. What we feel about ourselves, we often say. And all you have to do is just listen to how someone speaks about themselves. All you have to do is just listen to how they believe or don't believe in themselves. When I come on here, my lives are pretty consistent. Um, if you come on and you see me doing something that I haven't shown for the past, what, 2 years, you may say, huh, this is a little bit different from what Hope has shown us. However, I'm still getting in the flow of everything. So give me some moments. The ideas that you continue to entertain is the ideas that you will eventually become. Sure. And we have the power of changing that. Thank you, cool Aaron, because I am nearing the first year of my father's passing, and I allow myself to feel whatever that comes up. But if there are really low, uncomfortable thoughts, I have the ability to change them. And I remember saying this where I said, I just choose to be positive. I just choose a better thought. I just choose, yeah, that's not going to work for me. But I have the power to do that. And that's a radical act of kindness and love for myself. So if there was a thought of, you can't do this, you are less than, no, that's not true. I can do that. I am powerful. I'm worthy of success. And I will just speak the thoughts that I feel. I love that. You can redesign what is not aligned. Exactly. And being bold enough to know that that is a solution that you can use. Because when those thoughts come, and they're going to come, you get to choose. You get to choose. Thank you for the stars, Erin. Are you coming on live today? You get to choose. And this is a time where I had said it just feels I'm you have to build your world right now, because there's a space of, maybe I think this is within the space of growing through grief, where parts of life are just shaded with gray. It's just shaded with a lack of brightness. And it's shaded with a tinge of solemnness, where I choose to see that, accept that, and still see greatness, see the best, strive to feel my best, because it is up to me. And that is radical, to say, I feel this, and today is a great day. Today is the best day of my life. Today I'm expecting beautiful opportunities. Today I feel good. Today my body, my mind, my soul is inspired. And I seek that in my own ways, especially through meditation or journaling. But it can be challenging. It can be challenging. And that challenge for me is to understand that we really have control of our thoughts when we know we have control over our thoughts. If the belief is, I can't control this, I just feel this, this is true. But that awareness allows you to say, no, I'm choosing a better thought. I'm choosing a better feeling. And I did that. And I had spoken about this through growing through this time of grief, and I would say character building experiences. Exactly. I would say awareness is change. Awareness is change. And I had spoken to someone about this because they said, "Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to." And I said, "Well, you actually don't need to do anything. The moment that you're aware, the change has already started, because there was a moment where you were unaware. There was a moment where you were unaware that you had this inner dialogue. There was a moment that you were unaware that you were making these choices. There was a moment that you were unaware." And so to simply be aware means that you will notice and choose another option. You will be aware, you will notice the thought, the action, the reaction, and then you can choose another option. And thank you for continuing to like and share the live. I'm also inspired because I always say my New Year's is my birthday. However, let's take this calendar new year, which we were about to wrap up. And often we will, or myself will take a look back at the past year and say what was accomplished and what was not accomplished. And to be easy with yourself, because we are all going and growing through some of the biggest battles in our life in every way. And I had to, and this is my lesson to you, to give yourself grace. I had to give myself grace because I now see the effects of how I was growing through grief and how I was learning and how I shifted and how I've changed. Um, yeah, and thrive, let's say this, thrive for the rest of my life. Thrive for the rest of my life. This, we can take it in year increments. I like to see things in 10-year increments now. And I've also shared that I've been really not immature, but childlike for the longest time. I just recently grew up, just recently. I was always great at adulting. I was always great at adulting, but I've been in a space where I've been able to maintain a childlike presence. And yeah, the lifestyle means taking it in a year increment is fantastic, but this is for the rest of my life. I don't say for the next 10 days or 1 year, I'm going to change my eating habits. No, that is my lifestyle. The way I consume everything is for the entire aspect of my life, not just for a short amount of time. And just a minute, I need a tissue. And sometimes, thank you, cool Aaron, for highlighting that. Sometimes that is the thought. I am going to do this cleanse, or I am going to go on this diet for the next 2 weeks. Then what? Then what? If it cannot be incorporated into your lifestyle as a whole, expect that same thing to come back, whether it's the weight to come back, the low thoughts, or whatever way of being that you're trying to dissuade yourself from becoming. It, setting a short timeline of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm only going to drink carrot juice for 3 weeks. Then what? Are you going back to your previous ways of eating? Are you going back to your previous ways of behavior? Because if so, if everything that you wanted to avoid or change will come back. Who would have thought that our thoughts could be the ultimate game changers? Well, what's the other option? What would be the other option? Because what we are our thoughts. And I always bring up this example. I have a friend who would think very highly of herself, which is how we should, and think herself into a different socioeconomic status. And others would say, well, why is she doing that? Well, she did. She put herself in that space and now resides and bought a place in that space that she always would talk about and aspire for. It all comes down to your thoughts. And that's why when you put yourself around others who do not have that same way of thought, an elevated thought, or maybe a lower thought than you, understand that you will pick that up. You see, there's a difference. If you are around me, you're either going to think really highly of yourself, you're either going to aspire for things, you're going to feel energized, or you are going to say, I don't even know how this person could feel positive all the time. But there's going to be a shift. And there is this quote that says, when you go on a walk with someone, one of two things happens. You either go at their pace if they're walking faster than you, or if you're walking slower, they slow down and they walk at your pace. I'm not slowing down. So you got to catch up. You got to catch up to my pace, which is the truth. But who are you walking with? Often, I'll tell you, I'm walking alone. Y'all can't catch up with me. And I have a friend who said, Hope, let's go. I want to go hiking with you. Let's go trail running. They had no idea what they were signing up for. You have no idea. I'm insane. I like to trail run up the steepest mountains, like full force running, because I love that adrenaline. I love the burn, and I love coming back down on the decline and essentially being pushed because of inertia. They couldn't even keep up for the first 5 meters. That's the other thing. You don't know what you're signing up for. You have no idea what you're signing up for. The same thing, I had some friends that said, I'll come jog with you. Okay. uh, Okay. I just said, okay, come on. And this is when I would do a 5 mile loop. Uh, they could hardly last the first 7 minutes. I make it look easy because I'm just not going to stop. I'm just not going to stop. Even in the presence of anything that seems defeating, I know if I don't stop, I will succeed. And that's what makes the difference. Signing up for the unforeseen challenge, sure, do that, but be ready for the challenge. What I'm saying is, I will always sign up. I had saw something, a piece of content here that said you will get $1 million if you choose to run a marathon tomorrow without training. And I've shared this. Most people don't really believe in themselves because when you looked at the comments said, I'll take the money, but you won't see me for 2 weeks after. There's no way I could do it. As a person who did a marathon with no training, all you need to do is start at the starting line and stop at the finish line. That is it. No one's saying you have to run. You can actually walk the whole course. There was large portions the second time that I walked, but the thought is I just can't do it and it's going to take me out. Where you can have the reverse thought of, I will complete this. I don't know how, but I will. And as it was said, what's up, C Beyond today? The fact of signing up for the unforeseen challenge, I say that, and my father would say most people are wimps. The ability to challenge yourself, or for me, let me put this in my perspective. The ability to challenge myself, whether that's daily exercise, running at an incline, hiking, running a marathon, any of these endurance sports is really endurance for my mind. And I chose, thank you for continuing to like and share the live. I chose to do the marathon simply because it's a lesson on life. Yeah, and here's the reason as well, just the achievement. Just the achievement. Whenever I tell someone I ran a marathon, they say, "Oh, what's the time?" Why? You've never even ran one race. It You're taking away from the accomplishment of completing the 26 miles. And I've always known that. It was never about the time of completion for the marathon, it was about the completion. And the same thing for life. Doesn't matter when you complete it, it matters that you've completed it. So much focus is put on the time. The time. Oh, well, it took me 12 years to get my degree. So what? You got it. It took me until I was 56 to find love and get married. So what? You found it. It doesn't matter when you receive the lesson or you receive the achievement. It's the fact that you've received it. And secondly, you chose to still pursue because that pursuit is what builds you. That pursuit through continuing. the goal being completed. And I always mention, yeah, it's about the completion. Thank you, cool Aaron. Can you DM me that? Because I usually have my notepad and I write these things down. I'm always dropping pearls of wisdom. I'm always dropping pearls of wisdom. You got to string it up to make it a necklace. But it is about the completion. And I've even said this for myself. There's so many times where the belief is just going to come from you. And I'm reminded of this because I had a niece she's a dancer and she was working on choreography for 8 weeks. And she was so excited about this performance. And she said, there was people that are important in my life and they didn't show up. I said, get used to that. Because for the most part, you will be the only one that will see all of your successes. It's great when people show up. Most of the time, they won't. When I'm speaking of all of these things, the marathon, my TED Talk, no one was there. I was there. I saw it. Did that detract me from the goal? No. The people that were planning to come canceled right before. It didn't detract me. I'm always there. I'm not actually looking for the outward perspective to say, wow, you did it. I'm saying I did it. I'm saying I did it. And you will always see 100% of your goals. Others will see it at some point. Most of the time, it's the large ones that receive all the accolades. But every time you show up is the completion of the goal. Yeah, and the podcast. I had it in my link, but now I have my link as my purple ticket, which I love. So yes, my TED Talk, you can go to YouTube, put Hope Emergency Landing TED Talk. It is there. And there will be several others. So I'm sharing this because in the TED Talk, I said, it is you. It is you. Most of this life journey is going to be just with yourself. Now, there will be others. There will be your life partner, all of that. But for the most part, it is you. All of your accomplishments will be seen by you. If other people see it, great. But recognize your accomplishments and recognize even the choice to go for an accomplishment. I had said that because when I chose to go down this path of speaking, and I love it, it fuels me. It fuels me with every accomplishment. And even through everything I was going through this year, all of the events that I spoke at in person, and they're growing. It was, wow, it came from the thought, and I know where it's going, and I'm constantly accomplishing. And it wasn't in a set time frame. As I said, Tony Robbins said, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Again, most people underestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can complete in 10 years. And this is really a 20-year long game, but to be able to say, this is what I want and this is what I'm going for. Thank you, Protect Your Peace, for liking the live. And it's not about comparison, because I'm very serious. Most people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. They don't like themselves. And they don't believe they can accomplish great things. They just don't. All you have to do is look at the comment section of anyone who has done something great here on this app, or anyone who has built something. Well, that's a one-off. Well, they received this help. It doesn't, you can receive help and still not build something great. I don't care if you received help from your parents, from anything, or you did it from the ground up. It's the fact that you did it. I don't take away from anyone who had support, because support is helpful. That's why people can succeed with it. In fact, it is a great thing to brag about. I had support. Great. Because this is hard. It is not a joke. Do you build yourself if you're doing it with yourself? Of course. But even in that, you have support within yourself. A positive community is a powerful tool. But guess what, Aaron? You are that positive community. You may have to be that voice that says, keep going, you've done great, relax, rest. You will have to be that community. I've shared this whenever I see someone, because as I said, I've had a character building year. And I see content that says, I'll remember everyone who doubted me. I'll remember everyone who wasn't there when I was at my lowest. I don't even know who it was. If you're keeping stock of the people that never helped you, that kicked you while you were down, you change your focus. Here's the other thing. No one cares. And if you're keeping a list of people that you want to bring down once you get up, you've already lost. The lesson was to turn inward, not to blame people. Sometimes people don't have the capacity to help. Sometimes people don't have the capacity to be what you need. And that's in a state of compassion. But I'm never holding a space to get someone back. And even if I recognize it, I'm going to forget it. That's too much space that I can redirect towards myself or what I'm going towards. Are you that angry all the time? You never helped me. So what? Maybe the lesson was to find every way you could help yourself. Because guess what? It gets cold. It gets cold, dark, and lonely. And that's when you are the light. That's when you can warm yourself up. That's when you are the partner that you need. I'll say that again. When it gets cold, dark, and lonely, the darkness is for you to illuminate your light. When it gets cold, that's when you find the warmth from your light. When it gets lonely, that's when you develop the community or the strength that you need, the power that you need, the partner that you need within yourself. Within yourself. It's not about what others didn't do for you. It's about how you grew when other people weren't there to be the support that you need. Hope is essential. Faith is essential. Perseverance is essential. Grit is essential. And it's really grit, perseverance and grit. Because you can have hope. I'm hope. I'm always hoping and expecting of wonderful things. But to have that grit to continue, to have that perseverance when you don't actually see it, you see it here, but you don't see it in your reality. That's where that grit comes from. That grit comes from when sometimes you have to go in the room and close the door and cry and say, and I'm still making it. And I'm still going to make it. And today has been difficult, and I'm proud of myself. That's what it will take. And I say that from experience, but I also say that because it looks easy from the outside. I've had people tell me, you make it look easy. That is the point. If you knew everything that it will take and take out of you, you may not pursue. And I understand when others do not pursue. They don't pursue because it is difficult, but it's worth it. Everything that you put energy to that seems like you cannot achieve is always going to be worth it. Why? Because the fact is you kept at it. You kept going. You told yourself, I can do it. I will do it. I am doing it. That builds that resiliency within yourself. With pleasure, Bernard, because it does get difficult. Now, the celebrations are great. they're actually short-lived. The celebration is seeing the growth within yourself, because that's what it's going to take. You have seen me multiple times over several years come on and talk, essentially to myself into the phone. That took grit. That takes perseverance. That takes more than what most individuals are going to do. Because they're going to say, why would I do that? It will not be successful. I won't be recognized. There's no way I can make a lifestyle after that. I'll just check into this job that I hate and stay around the people that I hate and just do what I hate because it's comfortable, it's easy, and the ability for me to shift and change into what I want, it's too hard. I'd rather stay where I am. F that. That's whack. That's the mediocreness that I've never wanted. If that takes what it takes for me to get what I want, for me to build what I see, then that's just what it is. That's just what it is. And being a flight attendant for 15 years helped with this. Thank you for continuing to like and share the live. Let's get it up to 10,000. We're only 4,000 away. I know I can make a way out of no way. I just believe it. I just believe it. I just wake up and say everything is working out. That's that radical positivity, but it's also radical because what's the other choice? Me saying none of this is working? Every time you show up, it is working. Every time. Because change is incremental. So whenever someone says, well, we've changed, but we got a long way to go, so what? You're not seeing all of the change that has actually happened. And change is often not seen by you. Change is usually seen from the others that come after. So the change that my grandmother or great-grandmother or great-great-grandfather wanted, I am living now. So I'm never saying, well, we have so far to go. Of course, but I'm probably not going to see that. The change that I am is the change that I am. Thank you, Bernard. I am the change I want to see. I will always repeat this. I'm never asking someone for the change. We need to do that. No, I'm doing it. If you're demanding people need to do this, you're not built for it. I'm not putting on a shirt and saying be positive. No, I'm just showing up as it, because that is the change I seek. That is the change I want to see. That is my activism. I am it. There's also a bigger story for me being a humanitarian and from traveling around the world. Here's a radical statement. There are passionate movements that individuals fight for that in the bigger scheme of things are probably far more detrimental than you can imagine, especially if you haven't seen it or been in that space. But what you can do is show up believing in yourself, and that is radical change. Just the ability to believe in yourself is radical change. And when I say you don't see a lot of change, it's because it's incremental. And a lot of times, especially if you speak to people in different generations, someone who would be my mom's generation, who was born in 1950, is not going to experience the generation of my niece who was born in 2000. So even if my mom, who was born in 1950, does not see the change that she was fighting for or believed in, my niece, who was born in 2000, is actually living the change. Does that make sense? Because we're on different platforms, we're on different spaces. And that's what I share why I share just the belief in yourself is the change, but you often will not even experience the change that you so passionately are fighting for. And it all comes back to you. I strongly believe in that. The change that you want is within yourself, or do it for yourself. And as Cool Aaron had said, it is helpful to have a community around you that pushes you, that inspires you. And until you have that, thank you, Chico49, for the follow. Until you have that, you must become it. You must become it. What's up, Kenneth? You have to become that community. How do you do that? Well, you have to inspire yourself, meaning you will have to speak well of yourself. You will have to speak life into yourself. You will have to just keep showing up for yourself. You will have to encourage yourself. And it's not because others don't see it, they see it. But I had saw that Russ put up a piece of content that said people don't believe until other people believe. Meaning until there's that big break and everyone starts seeing in you or seeing your passion or seeing what you're creating, others aren't going to see it. Most people will follow. This is why you have viral products or a movement, because most people don't know what they want until they're told. They don't. Homer Simpson said, people will like what I tell them to like, which is true. Because if the person says, I like this, and their friends say, I don't know why you like this, they will stop liking that, because now they are ostracized and they are not in the same, they are not in flow with their friends. It will take someone who is powerful enough to believe in themselves and do what they want to like something when other people don't. People will like what you tell them to like. And I share that because anyone who is building something or making something and they don't see others supporting, it's only a matter of time. You will just have to continue until others see it. And you will have to see it before others see it. People will just follow what they believe other people believe in until it is mainstream, or even until it's underground mainstream. But the point is, it doesn't matter what is outside of you. It doesn't matter that people get on board. Even it matters even less when people get on board, because then you really see, I've been doing the same thing and now people get it, but I have not actually changed my formula or what I've been making. And that's the same thing with when I share about my TED Talk. I've been talking the same message. I've been sharing the same message before my TED Talk. The TED Talk did not change anything. Yeah, authenticity, but even that, authenticity is often not really seen, because if you are your authentic self, which we are as children, but it is not rewarded, that's when it stops. That's when you choose to not be authentic. Because when I show up as my authentic self, my true self, who I am, what I produce, how I show up in the world, how I speak, how I show my body, and others do not support it, I'm going to change. So even authenticity ignites inspiration. I would say inspiration ignites authenticity. Thank you. What's the other option? As I said, a lot of mofos are lame, especially I don't really speak highly of the US at all. I don't, I mean, my family is here. I do have an American passport. I don't think that this is, that's a whole nother conversation that we can have on Patreon. What I will say is, do what the F you want to do. And I mean that, because what else is this experience for? All too often, this experience has been like drilled into your head, especially in this country, to just work, to just work, to not connect to yourself in any way, whether that's spirituality, religious wise, going deep to understand yourself, to really be a kind individual, to forgive individuals. This is a broad statement. I don't believe this country breeds any sort of forgiveness or kindness. We can see that from our correctional facilities, or if someone says, I was incarcerated, it seems like the person as a whole is just thrown to the side. Where humans do make choices that may affect their life, it doesn't mean that for the rest of their life they should be casted off to the side. Human beings are human beings. And I say this as a humanitarian. The fact to love someone, regardless of the choice that they made, in a forgiving manner, is a radical act of love and kindness. More so, seeing people as humans. That's the core of my message, because I don't believe, especially in this country, that we do. We see each other as the color of your skin, or your gender, or your socioeconomic status, or your education. It's not even as a human. You're this, so you're different. You're this, so I can put you in this box and I know who you are and you're less than. You're this, and I believe you're more than me. You're this, and I can think lowly of you because of who you voted for. None of that junk actually even matters. I've always said this. I don't actually care who you voted for. What I care about is, if my niece or child was crossing the street, would you say, oh, let me help you cross the street? If they were locked out, would you say, oh, come in, you can sit here until your mom gets home or your grandmother gets home? Or if they were, would you just be a human being towards another person, regardless of their political choices or how they show up? Because that's what matters. When my father died, no one said, oh, well, his voting record. No one cares. No one cares about that. As a human being, as a human being, are you able to see another human being? Are you able to see a person as a human being? Are you able just to forgive someone? And I always share that starts with yourself. We make decisions that we may not feel so good about within ourselves, and we hold ourselves accountable for our entire life. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, but you did. And now that you've done that, you have new information, so you would make a different decision. But don't hold yourself accountable. Well, let me reverse that. Do not continue to punish yourself for a decision you made at a time where you had less information. You have more information now. And so the decision that you will make, or the choice that you will make, is different. That's okay. Release yourself from that really barrier of holding yourself, punishing yourself. It's like you're punishing yourself every day. Why? How does that serve you? Well, this person shouldn't have done this. Yeah, but they did. So what? Who are you to cast judgment on them? And more so, how does that improve or benefit your life in this moment? Does it just make you feel better and superior? Okay, cool. But what does that do? Do you get a medal at the end of the week? Do you get some sort of certificate for achievement? And I share that just in the simple aspect of humans are humans. Mistakes are going to be made. And I'm inspired by this because my mother was speaking of how love covers all and how um, she's growing through her grief journey of my father dying, and they were married for 45, 46 years. And I really saw an excellent example of a partnership and a marriage. And it really inspires me, and why I have not made that commitment. I also know what that commitment means, and I don't take it lightly. But here's a radical statement: I was never ready for it. I'm ready now. There's a difference now. And I think I know once my father died, there was a huge shift. But it's not all about, and I'm all for, I love Shira. I love Shira 7. That's one aspect about it. That's one aspect. If this is speaking of the soft life, that's all I've ever seen. All I've seen is my mother being supported and loved and taken care of and shopping. But what I also saw was her getting up and doing her four girls' hair every morning and making a lovely breakfast and being beautiful and well spoken and having conversations with my father. It's just not all about just pay me. That's a part of it. Let me say that. Listen, I'm not saying that that's not a part of it. However, that soft life thing was just a part of having a beautiful experience with her husband. And when my mom was speaking of, if you love covers all things. Covers a multitude. It inspired me. It inspired me because I just love. I've always said I love everyone. I do. I love humans. And I've seen this in all of my travels. Most of all, I love myself. Most of my decisions are made off of the love I have for myself. That radical decision to retire from flying when I loved it, but I said, I love myself enough to know there's more in me. I've done, I've checked off everything. There's more in me. And so I love myself. I love myself enough to know that every time now that I'm going to the airport, I'm saying, I don't want to be here. I'm slowly chipping away at my soul because it's not what I want to do. I'm no longer pursuing a path that inspires me. And why would I continue to show up in something that no longer challenges me? That's a radical act of love. And that radical act of love turns into a radical act of, it's time for something else. And that radical act of love also comes from that space of compassion. Hi, the God particle. That space of compassion. You will you will never hear me talk about a hater. I don't care. I don't care. Any any feeling that is not a direct reflection of love comes from a space that we can learn from. When someone says my haters drive me, no, I drive me. I drive me. I don't even recognize that. And if someone did come from a space that wasn't fueled from love, I have compassion for that. From hearing my mother say, yes, love covers a multitude, it like filled my heart with this beautiful sense of compassion. And I will always say, I'm always growing in this. I wouldn't say I'm a wild child, but I act on what I feel. Maybe thank you, cool air. Are we? Because I see, I think it lags at times because I only see 7.4, but I will believe that we are at 10,000 or maybe still on the way. I only see 7.4 thousand likes. I act on my intuition and I trust it. It's always been a powerful space. Because when I say people don't like themselves, they don't trust themselves, I can see. Every time they second guess themselves, well, what should I do? Listen to yourself. Well, I don't know if I should. What else would you listen to? You have your voice and your guide, your intuition for a reason. The point is to trust yourself, to listen to yourself, to refine that inner compass. I'm always listening to myself. I don't care if it doesn't make sense for someone else. I don't care if it doesn't materialize how someone else may. The thing is, I don't care about the outward opinion. And that is a radical act of love. Because the moment that you disconnect from any outside opinion is the moment that you connect fully to yourself. Fully to yourself. Until you get to a space where you are so comfortable with the decisions you make, with your inner compass, with your ability to say, this is what I choose, you're just disconnected, and your redirection is going to be based off of what you feel others believe you should do. Yeah, but what does that mean? What does that mean? That's a constant thing. And mastering yourself often means discomfort. It often means discomfort. But to take that radical action of, nah, I'm trusting myself. Something doesn't feel right. They are. Thank you. I've said this. When I feel that, oh, I trust it. Something's not right here. Because when it's right, I don't feel that tinge of, oh, my spidey senses tingling. No, something's off. Can you hear me? Yes. Something's off. And I remember saying that to someone like, hey, something's off. Do you feel that? And they said, yeah. But until I said that, the other individual never brought it up. I can feel it and I trust it. And I'm sharing all of these lessons to really inspire you to trust what you feel. Trust yourself. Well, I don't know how to trust myself. Here's how you start. You just make your decisions and then you go forward. Meaning, what ice cream do you want? Cherry, vanilla, or blueberry? Well, what are you going to get? No. What do you want? I have a friend that does it. What do you want? I want cherry. Why are you asking me what I want? It's simply because you don't trust yourself. And that makes sense. Because a lot of times in our younger years, we're told not to trust ourselves. We're told, we've had guardians or parents that have almost trained us not to believe and trust in ourselves. Thank you, Erin. Enjoy your day, and I hope to see you on live soon. If you want the blueberry ice cream, get the blueberry ice cream. Trust in that decision and enjoy your blueberry ice cream. Guess what? You just exercised your trust in yourself. If you are invited out and you don't want to go, don't go. Well, they want me to. I don't care what they want. What do you want? I want to stay home. Okay, then stay home. Well, they're going to come. Again, I don't care about they. This is my choice, and I'm going to trust it. I'm not going somewhere where people are just looking around, looking at me. I'm looking at them. It's weird, man. People are weird. And I feel it all. They're weird. I don't want to be out. They're zombies. There's certain places, especially private events or when I'm speaking that I'm invited to, I go with happiness. Otherwise, I'm not just out. No. No way. Bunch of y'all are zombies and are just zoned out of your life experience. Not going to stand around, and definitely not listening to music that's not empowering and uplifting. Like, no, I'm listening to myself. That's not where I choose to be. But it will take your strength within yourself to say, yeah, I'm choosing not to do that. I'm choosing not to do that. And I often share the story of when I took retirement from flying. I had known for a couple of years before, about 2 years before. And I shared with my sisters, listen, if you guys want to go somewhere, go. Because my days are numbered. It was never, well, I'll stay because of the benefits. Once you have the ability to buy a ticket, it doesn't matter. And I've always said, now I know the blueprint. This is my blueprint for life. Freedom of movement, freedom of living where I want to live, freedom of travel, traveling to speak, traveling. Essentially, like my whole flight attendant lifestyle is now my speaker's lifestyle. I travel to these places and stay in lovely hotels and give my speeches and still have my lovely dinners and beautiful new restaurants and thrift shop, but it's just without pouring drinks on the way there. You can create your life if you believe it. I had to radically believe in myself that I would recreate it. That I would recreate traveling internationally to speak. You can't do that. Why not? Why not? Why not just believe that I can? Why not believe that you can fulfill whatever you choose to? Because if the option is, well, I just don't believe that I can make it happen, well, then sure, that's correct. But I choose not to believe that. And so when I took that radical leap of faith, that shows how much I believed. Because I had so many flying partners that said I would never do that. Sure, the operating phrase in your sentence is I, referring to you. What you choose to do has nothing to do with me. And I've always stated this, individuals are only stating their limitations. Well, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, of course you want it, but that has nothing to do with me. Well, I don't think that's a great idea. Sure, but I don't care what you think about my idea. With respect or without respect, I don't care. I have radical belief in myself. In myself. And that's across the board. That's just not how I show up in life. That's in the partners you choose. That's in the friends you surround yourself with. That's how you show up in life. Once you begin to trust yourself and know what's important for you, life may become a bit easier because you don't pour into anything that doesn't add to you. It doesn't add to you. I don't watch TV. I haven't really in it seems like decades. I've never had a TV since I've been an adult and lived on my own, but that's because I live my life like a TV show. And because I was always traveling as a flight attendant, I my life was the movie. I don't need to watch someone else's imagination play out. My imagination is playing out in front of me. But if you're in a monotonous way of being, if you don't believe you can build anything in life, if you believe that job is as best as you can do, then I can understand. And this isn't to take away from anyone who loves movies or entertainment. Sure, I'm speaking of my experience. But there's so much that I don't wish to consume. I'm not looking at violence and um, people being unalived or just sadness all the time. I don't want that programmed into my subconscious at all. I I'm definitely there's so much music. I don't listen to a lot of music. I'll listen to frequency music or sound bowls or meditations, affirmations, subliminals, but there's too much that if you actually listen to what you're listening to, it is not necessarily for your benefit. And that comes down to you. But I'm not listening to anything that isn't benefiting or building me. I'm not listening to anything that is talking about unaliving people. I'm not listening to anything that is saying that people are less than because of their financial standing. I'm not listening to anything that's saying you're not worth it because you don't have what they feel is important. That doesn't benefit me. And it will take that radical act of love for yourself to start seeing, what am I surrounding myself with? What am I ingesting on a daily basis? And ingesting is more than just eating, but even that. There's a lot of stuff. I don't eat that. I mean, there's very little. You choose to read what you want to read. I don't know. The thing is, it comes down to you. I don't know what is beneficial to you. What's beneficial to you is beneficial to you. Um, well, there's things that may be productive. I don't know. I mean, I do like, of course, I don't, that is a generalized statement. I like HGTV. I like those types of things if I'm going to watch TV, but I don't. I don't even know who watches TV. If I'm watching something, I'm streaming something on my computer, but I watch a lot of like YouTube or speakers or positive interviews, or I don't really watch anything for entertainment. It's more for knowledge, but I like quiet. It allows me to hear what I'm thinking, and I don't need to drown out my thoughts. To be as clear as possible is for me just to listen to me, 11:11 on the clock for myself. And I truly trust that my lack of distractions is keeping my path. When I share that what you want is on the other side of true discipline, and discipline means discipline. What you see, what you eat, what you hear, what you smell, what you ingest, what you're around. And that will take a clear mind. That will take not ingesting substances or alcohol. See how clear you are. See how clear you are after going for your walk or your run or your stretch without substances. Because this path, our learning is in everything we do. Our learning is in forgiveness. Our learning is to love ourselves. Our learning is to love or not love others who haven't shown up how we wanted them to. But once we learn, then we've grown. And that's what it is about, growth. The hope that you saw speaking on here a year ago, 2 years ago, is no longer here. The hope that you saw speaking in January is no longer here. It is a completely new version, purposely. And I always share the story about some individuals who said, I don't change, I never change. That is not something to brag about never changing. The beauty is in the change. The beauty is in the growth. The beauty is in the adaptation. The beauty is in you leaving old versions of yourself to become what you are in this moment. And that is unlimited. I am not limited. I am hope. Do not limit me. Do not put me in a box. Do not. I don't even put myself in a box. I allow myself to look at different perspectives. And I had saw a piece of content about the number one sign of intelligence is the ability to see another perspective. But if a person says, no, this is it, this is the only way, you can't see another perspective. If that's the ability, your lack of seeing another perspective is really just sharing your fear and a lack of intelligence. So let's say in a religious sense, when someone said, if someone said, this is the only way, Christianity is the only way, there's no other way. Okay, sure, I'm not negating that. How about there is? How about someone from another religious belief having that? Nope, won't work. Okay, just that simple lack of not being able to see another perspective. It's not even about green or green, is leaving out the beauty of saying, oh, okay, I can understand that. I can hold that. I can hold all opinions. I'm never rejecting any opinion or saying you're wrong. Your opinion is your opinion. The effect to argue someone's opinion, that's how they see life from the moment they were born until that second. To me, someone's opinion, I don't care if it's right or wrong. In fact, I'm not even looking at it to see if it's right or wrong. The ability for me is the fact that I can just hold their opinion. I don't need to say, well, this is why it's wrong. You're missing it. You don't have to accept it. But to hold it as an additional perspective is the sign of intelligence. And to be able to do that is just showing that I can love a human enough to see that that's how they see life. That's it. That's not agreeing. That's not accepting. That's not putting down. That's not trying to change someone's mind. It's just, oh, okay, sure. I say that all the time in conversations. Oh, okay, sure. It doesn't mean anything. As soon as I walk away, you'll forget about it. I'll forget about it. We'll go on with life. You are not going to give me high blood pressure by trying to argue with it. First of all, I'm not arguing. I'm not. There's nothing that I have a firm belief in that I feel that I have to argue. Nothing in life. Absolutely nothing. 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 And a lot of this has come from just the growth of the experience of the death of a parent, the death of my father. Most of this stuff doesn't matter. And I'm still seeing what matters. Because for a long time, I just had no, I just did not see what was, thank you, Z, what had depth or brightness for this experience. And I'm still finding that. I also believe it's just a lot of changes within my life, career change, everything. And to redirect and to shift perspectives and to shift into another gear and to shift even the goals or aspirations. Change my hair color. You know, I'm always changing my hair color. But I like this hair color. I do. I like how it fades and changes. It's a great autumn, fall, winter color. So yeah, there's nothing. And this also comes with me traveling. A lot of the perspectives may not be seen because if you haven't ventured out or been in places where you are really uncomfortable, then none of this will make sense. I've been around the world thousands of times. I know there's trillions of ways to live this life. I'm not grasping onto one way of doing anything. And if that's not understood, that's okay too. Hi, Mag. You're coming in just at the end. You can tap the screen. But that ability to say, I am different and that is okay. Yay! I am so glad you have. I'm so glad you did. Thank you. That ability to just be in your changed way and say, this is me. And I'm not even explaining. I don't explain to people. Now I can take accountability. Accountability if I've done something. Okay, we're back. Can you hear me now? Okay. Jay and Bob, can you hear me now? I'm always prepared. I'm always prepared. Okay, great. I'll put the other one on the charger. So when I say thank you, Z, thank you, Mag, thank you, FSICP Wellness, I flow through life with ease. You see this skin, this glowing, healthy, moisturized skin? That's because ain't nothing stressing me out. Even more so now. If something's, I always say, everything that's for me comes to me with ease and stays. If I got to fight and it ain't for me, that's okay. Something, I have to let go of something, I let it go. I'm definitely not arguing. I'm not arguing. And this is also the lesson from flying as well. I make life easy for me. Choose what's for you, and what's not for you will easily fall by the wayside. But that space of I have to fight for this, I have to let people know, you don't. That's your insecurity. And a lot of people are really insecure. And you show it the moment that you have to be right, the moment you have to raise your voice, the moment you have to argue, the moment you have to have the most really, confidence is quiet. Confidence is quiet. Confidence is actually the person that's like, oh, okay, cool. You recognize it. And confidence will recognize that insecurity and give compassion of that's just where someone is in their life story. So what? That's not for me to have to teach anyone. Life is its own teacher. Life is its own teacher. Now, again, if a person says, hey, can you teach me this? Sure. But outside of that, there's never anything in me that says I have to teach this person a lesson. I don't. The lesson is just life. And then there's the element where I believe that my father would say nothing is a coincidence. So with every human interaction, they're coming to teach you something, or maybe you're learning in that moment from that person. There's something in it. And that's it. That's magic of that human interaction. And I welcome it. As much as I say people are zombies, I like people. I love talking to people. I love doing this. I love engaging with people. I love hearing about people's life stories. I love it. People are interesting. Some of them. I do. I enjoy life. I make my life enjoyable by living it like it is a beautiful space, a beautiful movie. By learning, by growing, by shifting, by changing, by allowing the lessons to be a part of your story, by creating a new story. What is taking? And hold on. Who's that for? I'm expecting something from the TikTok shop. And knowing like, man, life is great. I'm crazy enough, I'll wipe my tears away, like everything's working out for me. I may not see it in this moment, and it's still all working in my favor. Everything is always working in my favor. Yeah, why not? Why choose to just believe everything's always falling apart? Not for me. Everything's always falling together. Thank you, Walk in Your Truth Incorporated, for the follow. Everything's always coming together. Everything is always growing in the direction that is most beneficial for me. Everyone who has come in my life or out of my life has benefited me in a lesson. Like saying these things. And yeah, a lot of this has come from wishful thinking from being a flight attendant because, oh boy, nothing gets to me because I don't allow it to. I don't care how someone shows up. I don't care if someone doesn't say please or thank you. And I'm sharing that because flight attendants all the time would say, they didn't say please or thank. So what? So what? The moment that you dictate your happiness is the moment that you create the ease in your life. It's not for me to teach someone. It's for me to teach myself. To live in this moment. Even this morning, I woke up and said, everything is great. Everything is fantastic. I'm working in my favor. Why wouldn't it be? Everything is falling directly into place. And I love it. And I feel it. And I know it. And then I saw an opportunity that I had put myself out for was received. It's like everything is working out. Everything's always working out. Just I would say tricking yourself, but really just believe it is. Also, give yourself grace in this moment. Give yourself grace right now, especially during the holidays. There's extra stress that just can, yeah. Oh, and I'm a master manifester. I am. I manifest with ease. I do. I always do. I am a powerful creator. And be aware that manifesting isn't always the things that you seek, because you manifest those things you don't want by constantly believing it and fearing it. Hola! Fearing it and creating that scenario, and all. You can manifest the things you don't want as well. That's why just that belief in the unseen or the things that you seek, or speaking it into existence, which is my gift. I easily create and speak things into existence with ease. I know it. I would even share here on this app when people have the tarot readings, use that to manifest. If it's something that you really want, you can use that to manifest. You can use anything, whether it's pictures, whether it's a movie or music. Like, that is my reality. I'm living this. This is great. Sure. It's the same thing as a prayer. It is that simple act of focused direction on an intention. So that could be a prayer if you're praying for something. And I'm going to make a radical statement. I don't, even that, you're praying and asking. No, I am the creator. I'm co-creating. If I am made in its image or his image, but I say its image, I'm not asking. I'm actually thankful for it. I'm creating it. I don't say, please give me this. I say, thank you for this. This is what I'm having. That directness of speaking and believing and creating instead of asking. Will you give this? No, I'm not asking for anything. I'm creating it. I am it. I'm worthy of it. Then there's the layer, do you believe you're worthy of it? Do you believe you can have it? Do you believe that you're safe with it? There's all of those levels, but it comes down to belief. I'm not asking for anything. I am it. It is me. It always has been me. What am I asking for? If I'm asking, that's really like I'm disconnected. No, I'm not disconnected. I am. I am. It is me. The simple belief means that it's already done. Knowing that it's me and it's done. Again, that may seem radical, but when that belief in yourself and that belief, what's up? I haven't seen you in across the comments in ages. Lovely to see you, and I love those two hands. So in this moment, just choose to believe in more. Choose to believe in better. Choose to believe in increase. Choose to believe in your health. Choose to believe in your abundance, wealth, and prosperity in all ways. Choose. Just choose. Instead of, I don't have it, I'll never have it. It sounds crazy, but those thoughts will have to shift. They will. And I know, because I've had the shift in financial direction. I would never say broke. Shifting in financial direction, and I'm still speaking that it is here when it may be below here. I just speak as it. You gotta, you choosing to believe that there's more for you, choosing to believe in yourself, choosing to believe everything is working out. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe. I'm really hungry now. I'm actually going to go. Definitely appreciate the positive insights with pleasure all the time. Because what's the other option? What's the other option? And I will run away from you mofos and say, this will never happen. I remember someone said, well, the odds are that I won't get it. Well, why are you creating those odds for yourself? The odds are always working in my favor. The odds are always working in my favor. I'm really lucky. And I am. Great things always happen to me. I find money all the time. I like people give me favor. They hold the doors open. They always say, let me give you this for free. The odds always work in my favor. So if you believe they don't work in your favor, I need to get the heck away from you. Okay? I don't want to be around you. I don't want your odds because my odds always work in my favor. Hello, retired F flight field training officer Lawrence. And he has a really interesting account, retired FTO. He makes content. He stitches a lot of content with police and I don't want to say correctional officers of the law, stating how they have been in the right or in the wrong. So check out his account. I am going to get off this live. I'm going to eat, and I have a few calls and sessions that I am doing because I will be traveling again, and I'm really excited. So I will come on again tonight at 7:30. I will put it in my stories. If you have enjoyed, follow me here. Click my purple ticket link. There's that. I typically go live here and YouTube at the same time. I don't know what will happen with this app, but I will continue to go live on YouTube. So go subscribe to my Hope is Speaking YouTube. I upload all of my lives and other content. You can also watch my TED Talk there. You can go to YouTube and put in Hope TED Talk Emergency Landing, and you can watch my TED Talk. If you have enjoyed what I've said, like, share, follow, suggest someone to come listen, send a video of mine to someone, and let's continue this hopeful thinking. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the rose. So I will be on again 7:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Mountain, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern time tonight for another 90 minutes. And I close my lives with these three things. Be the reflection of love because we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up like we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up like I did. Show up for your dream, show up for that new habit, show up for your workout, show up for you, show up and forgive yourself, show up and be proud of yourself. Just show up because nothing's going to happen until you show up, especially for yourself. And finally, choose to speak. Choose to speak what you want in life. If it's not what you want, don't say it. Speak what you want in life because it's available for you, but you will have to speak it and speak it and speak it and speak it and speak it until you believe it, and then watch it show up. Enjoy the best of your day, the hopeful way. I will see you later.